Hello, everyone. I am your host, Jake Bassey of the Mental Breakdown Podcast. And this is episode 2 with my good friend Alex Cave. We had a great talk about politics, our own mental breakdowns. My first mental breakdown was actually having some major audio issues recording this episode. And I have to re-record the episode with Christina DiBiase, which I'm sure by this time is out and fixed and re-recorded by then. But I'm just letting you guys know that the episode ahead that you're about to listen to had some major audio issues. I had the settings wrong, and what you're hearing and seeing now is the correct settings. So that being said, this is a trial by fire. I am learning how to use this technology and get used to it and use it correctly and not have the settings too loud to a bunch of, comedians who like to talk over each other and have the mic way too hot. So that being said, thank you guys for your patience. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. This is going to get better along the way. Again, this is a process. I'm doing this all by myself. This was a great conversation that I had with Alex about, her bad luck, about her being stuck in Australia, dealing with her roommate issues. And if you're on the Patreon, there's a whole lot more unedited, unfiltered, raw discussion about mental breakdowns and, general frustrations that hit a little too close to home. And we don't want anybody fired from their job. So please enjoy this episode of The Mental Breakdown. Thanks, everybody. All right, salud. Cheers. Cheers. Thank you for being on The Mental Breakdown.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
But before we get started with this, Alex, what you doing? What you up to? What's your socials? What you got coming up?
I run that astrology show. The Libra show is October 28th.
Ooh, nice. This will be out before then.
Yeah, okay, great.
Hell yeah.
It's technically Scorpio season, but nobody cares. It's my fucking show.
And you sold out the last one.
Sold out the last one. Everyone's a little fucking angel, and I love them. And I have a little nerdy. Should I look?
You could look wherever you want. It doesn't matter. It's the third person.
I have a little nerdy Etsy shop where I sell stuff like these Zelda earrings.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, these little heart pieces. That's so cool. I like that.
And then I consider pieces of heart.
Pieces of heart?
So
I like that too.
Tiny one.
That's
Maybe
fun.
I'll get you a keychain.
I know this is a little off tangent, but you know how in Twilight Princess where you had to get 5 pieces instead of 4 pieces?
Did you?
Yeah.
I gave up real quick in that game.
Because I fuck with numbers like too hard and it's OCD. I'm like, it's an odd number. I don't like it. I don't like it.
4 is my favorite number,
yeah.
And I love a square, and I love the Triforce because it's technically 4 pieces.
Yes.
So 5 doesn't make any sense.
So Twilight, it fucked with me. It's a good game. I love it so much, but just those little tiny things. And I'm so glad that I am doing this correctly now, because before we get to the last mental breakdown you want to go through, I had a little technical snafu.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
So, nice tone. That's lovely. So not only did the second camera battery die while we were recording, I forgot to press that power button right there throughout half the episode. So it's not salvageable. It would be a technical mess.
No.
And you heard the plane flying over just now. That would be rampant on the camera sound and the laptop sound.
Where's everybody going?
I live by the Burbank Airport.
I guess
There's a plane going over every 10 freaking minutes.
Did you know there's an app where you can put it up to the plane and it'll tell you where the plane's going?
Really?
My family's like obsessed with this and I don't know why.
Is this your spy mom?
My mom and my dad and my brother, all 3 of them. A plane will go by. My brother's like, yeah, probably that trajectory, it's probably going to Florida or whatever. Like,
oh my God.
It's like so weird.
That's some tism right there. That's
don't tell him that.
That sort of thing has become so common now that everyone's got like a little touch of it.
Everyone's got a little tism.
That everyone's got a little bit of it, but when people are like, yeah, this kid's weird, let's get him tested. But if it's just 1 or 2 things, like a special interest or something, it gets, kind of overlooked because people are just into what they're into.
Yeah.
But if it's like a hyperfixation, like, I need to figure out where that plane is going, like, that's a little bit,
I'm just like,
that's a bit much.
How did we get here? Like, how boring, how boring is my family's lives where they're like, where that plane's going?
Yeah,
just
for real.
figure it out. Well, I'm
God.
like, oh, look at this thing destroying the environment and probably gonna crash if it's a Boeing.
Oh God, yeah, they're getting Epsteined. They're getting Epsteined.
So you're gonna have to re-record the whole
I have to re-roll it because half of the episode is through the laptop mic and the plane flying over. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to save it.
That's where we are.
We can hear each other. Like we can like.
Yeah.
I looked at the audio again and I could hear us, but there's just those little interferences. And first impressions are very important. And she's got a show on the 18th that she wants to promote and all that stuff. And I want to release this on the 7th.
I gotcha.
So you're going to be technically the second episode. We're getting
second the best.
It's inside baseball up in here, but like, it's a learning curve, and I need bad things to happen because how do we function?
How do we learn?
If we're done, how do we learn? Exactly. Because I did an old podcast and I figured it out. The first 50 episodes were through the laptop mic, and it's me not pressing the fucking button.
Oh no.
Because I thought, we're gonna plug it in. That means it automatically detects it. No, I have to switch to recording device this instead of this, and it's just me being dumb.
I love technology.
It's just me being dumb.
It's also a very thick laptop.
It's a thick boy. That's a thick old boy. This is my college graduation present. So she's at least 12 years old.
Oh, little baby.
Yeah, she's a good girl. I switched her genders again, but who cares? It's a laptop.
It's non-binary.
It is non-binary.
It's literally non-binary.
Well, I don't know if you know computer coding, but it's very much binary. So I'm getting it wrong. We're getting it all wrong. It's very binary. Zeros and ones. All right, so that was my mental breakdown. I sat here on the floor and cried for a little bit. Knowing that I have to. She's an angel, very forgiving. When I sent her off, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out, because I kind of figured out I figured that there were problems happening as it was happening, and I'm like keeping my cool and all that. She gets in her car, she goes home, and then I message her again and going, you're gonna hate me. But can we roll again? No, but she's we had a riveting conversation about her stuff. Not to do kiss and tell and stuff, but just relationship stuff.
Okay. I look forward to it.
It's fun. She was kind of having an issue with a guy that was dating somebody else at the same time, so that would give someone a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Would it not? And when she found out, she was like, and then she got into the whole, but I'm going to pretend to not have heard it the first time, and she's going to tell it again, and it's going to be fun.
You're going to just reenact it.
We're just going to reenact it like, yeah, I know.
Baby.
And she's an actor. But let's get back to you here. And I think I know what it is, because I was a little bit there for it. When was your last mental breakdown, Alex?
Literally last week.
Oh, last week.
Was it last week? 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? Which one was it? You have so many.
I've had a very hard year. Well, no, maybe it was. Did you sage my house before or after my tires were slashed?
After your tires were slashed.
Okay, so maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I don't know. Time's relative. Yeah, I had my tires slashed. Outside of a club I will not name because I don't want to have bad things. People not go to the club.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think it's just been me. Because a couple months prior, maybe almost a year prior, was it August? Might have been August last year. My mirrors got stolen.
Exact same spot?
The same exact place. Different part of the different, street. And I've parked there. I've been there probably 4 times, and 2 times it's happened. So I was like, I'm not coming here ever again.
Oh,
I'm so
man.
sorry.
And that really sucks for the spot, too. Because, parking in LA is generally a nightmare.
Yeah.
But for, the neighborhood in question, it really stinks because, I've spent more time looking for a parking spot than driving to the spot.
Yeah, that's why I pay money to park at my place.
I'd rather do that. So was that option not available to you?
It was metered parking.
Metered parking?
And then I find out later, the guy running it's like, oh, they have a parking lot. And I was like, what the fuck?
Why didn't you?
Didn't you tell? Nobody thinks.
We could, that's something that could be added to, show posters. Street parking, or parking here, or park, Fourth Wall does, park at the 99-cent store,
right.
Which is a block walk. And
that's
people,
okay.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
That's the longest fucking block. For some reason, that part of, is it North Hollywood?
No. It's the cafe location, not NoHo, no.
Whoever built that place, the blocks are 8 miles long.
Yeah.
Like you're walking.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a block, but it's like, okay, 40 years later, I'm at the club.
Well, then what is it later? Because the 99-cent stores are going to be gone now.
Now it's just a parking lot, maybe?
It's just empty lot.
Either way, too far.
Too far.
Too far for me. Too far for my ass.
I've spent a lot of time walking in this town, and I was like, why? I don't want to do this.
But anywhere else, I'm so happy to walk, you know? I was at, who the fuck's calling me? 424?
Yeah, say the number out loud on public so everyone can hear it.
What's a 424?
I think 424 is NorCal, I want to guess, because 425 is the Bay Area. No, 415 is the Bay Area. You know, I don't even know.
I don't know either. I don't know if I should even
It's not
check.
important.
I don't know. It could be work.
It could be work,
after
but
5.
It's after 5. Who cares? Also, I'm sorry for calling you in the middle of the night.
Yeah, we ain't talking about that! Was it twice you called me in the middle of the night? Or was it just the one?
I called you once, and I'm like, no answer. I'm like, oh shit, she's not a night owl like me.
No,
I'm like,
man,
damn it.
I'm getting up at like 6:37.
Yeah, and I go into the store. I went like, let's get the drinks that she wants, and then I went, wait, fuck, she's probably sleeping. Shit, I'm sorry.
Like a very kind thought, but I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
I'm neurotic like that. I'm so sorry.
I honestly just don't answer phone calls if I can help it. But the thing is, I have my phone's on Do Not Disturb, but my watch... Did they call me twice? But my watch, I keep on. So now I'm just going to put D&D on my watch. And I was like, don't make me mute you, because I'll mute you. I'm going to take you and my other red-headed autistic friend.
Was that the guy at the other Aquarius show?
No.
No? Another one?
Who was that?
Redheaded, balding?
Not balding, no.
No, okay.
My friend Ford, who's my best friend's brother, he will also text me. One time I woke up and he had sent me 41 text messages in a row.
41?
And I was like, I'm not gonna read any of those. And he was like, sorry.
Was he drunk?
Who knows? You and him, I think, would be very similar, because he gets very excited and he's like, boop, boop, boop. Oh, and this and that, and I watch this and I watch this and I watch that, and I'm like, I'm muting you.
Yeah.
Like, you send me more than 2 messages, I panic and I throw up my phone. I'm like, I don't want whatever's happening.
This could have been an email.
Yeah. I get very what's the word? Overstimulated.
Overstimulated?
Like, I have to clear all my notifications.
Yeah.
And then when they're cleared and someone texts me, I'm like, I just cleaned. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes, like Kate's texting me right now about doing video stuff for the show, and I'm like, I texted you yesterday, I'm like, I am nowhere near the mental capacity to answer any of these questions. I'm gonna be out of it until... Yeah. And then I got a free moment at like 10 o'clock at night.
People kind of forget how, okay, we have our phones on us at all times now. It's not like 30, 40 years ago where if you missed a call, they're not fucking home.
Right.
You know, you have to go to, the answer machine, and then you take care of that business when you get to it. And now people think, oh, this person's always available because we 100%. Always have our cell phones on us.
100%.
So, if they're not here, dude, we all individually have our own lives.
Yeah.
And stuff, and people just think we're fucking available. But at the same time, we're like, you never know when you get the call.
Right.
Which could be like an emergency or an opportunity. It's like, hey, you want to do the Comedy Store at the last fucking second? You're like,
you need to tell me right now, this moment.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not panicking right now. You're panicking. Like, oh, shit.
Which happens all the fucking time.
Happens. It does. It does.
Happened for you.
It did. It did happen for me. I think, okay, look, I love Sam. He's a friend. He's a good friend. Not only am I a fan, we've also developed a friendly relationship. Text me at 3 o'clock going like, oh, hey, what's your last name? I don't know what for.
Yeah.
And I just don't even think about it twice. And I know his show's on tonight, and I know I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to watch Roast Battle because some homies are on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just going to go there anyway. And I'm not going to go do it unless I am specifically asked. I don't want to ask to be on.
Yeah.
That seems greedy.
Yeah.
And desperate, and that's not me. And I'm waiting outside the store to wait in line to go to the belly room. He comes out, he goes, Jake, dude, you're on. And I'm like, but that's a bad thing.
You didn't tell me.
You're like, you didn't tell me. He goes like, of course I did. And I played stupid, and I was like, yeah, I'm done, I'm sorry. And I just rushed back there. And I don't want to, pull rank or anything like that. And I'm just like, let's go do the show. And,
okay.
And on the inside, I'm like, it's only the best stage in the world, debatably. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I've got my 5. I know my 5. And so, like, as far as my act goes, I'm like, I know what to say.
I can't imagine, like, being unprepared to do, like, the biggest comedy venue in Los Angeles, not knowing you're about to go up.
I'm very much prepared to do the allotted time that I am given.
Yeah.
But as far as, like, what do I talk about? Who's, what's the type of crowd? Because it was,
That's a huge thing for me. Like, I have to stay and listen to the crowd.
Yeah.
I need to know what they're laughing at, what they're not laughing at, and then I might change my entire,
right.
joke setup.
So with Tripoli's audience, it's a little bit more grifters. So, like, we have some leniency for the R word. I'm like, we might include that. But if it's very much a Christian cruise ship, I'm going to say light-skinned autistic instead of light-skinned retarded. I can interchange the joke. And it depends, like, where you are. And
we can say that.
Yeah. I mean, we can go into that. But, like, I feel like I can. But, like, with limited use and, like, depends on, context is, of course, important. Like, it's not going to be like I'm going to say it every other fucking word. Unlike some people who are just like, oh, we can't say anything anymore. I'm like, there's a meter.
I love the Bo Burnham. Look, I can't say anything. Look.
I love that. It's just so stupid how, it's comedy. I have no malicious intent behind it, but those who don't know the spiciness that is my neighborhood up here, I feel like I can have a pass with participating location required, I don't think it's good everywhere. But if it's like Arkansas, I'll get away with saying it, it'll be fine. But in my heart of hearts, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, so I'm not going to say it at, Dow Comedy Studio where it's more lefty, more liberal. I'm not going to go there. I'm just not going to, it's all phrasing. The other mental breakdown, which I thought you were going to bring up, was you being stuck in Australia.
I was literally just watching the videos earlier today because I was going through and deleting in case I need space on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, I'm in one of the most beautiful places in the world and people, would be like, what? You should be happy. It's like, I'm spending more money than I wanted to.
Right.
Thank God I had it, but holy shit, it was like, all the Australians were lovely except, like, the airline employees, and then one of the so it was a fucking CrowdStrike crash, which I guess, half of Australia's infrastructure is surrounded by. Yeah. So it was literally like it's so silly, and it's such a trust your gut and do what you originally planned kind of moment because I was gonna come back on Thursday.
It's okay. The plane's it's not gonna pick up. The waves are so loud.
Really?
It's fine. Yeah. I figured it out this time. We're doing it right.
So I was gonna leave. I was gonna come back on Thursday, and So I'm all the way in northern Australia. So I basically made my way up from Sydney, and then I was going to come back to Sydney and back to LA, do a round trip. So I was going to come back Thursday and go from Cairns, which is up in northern Australia, where the rainforests and the beaches are, back to Sydney, back to LA, or back to Hawaii for a sec, and then LA. And then instead, I extended it a day.
Nice. I love that tone.
Which cost me, another $100. And then, rescheduling it twice also cost me $100. But so I sent it to Friday because I was like, oh, I didn't go to the Great Barrier Reef. I want to go to the Great Barrier Reef. Because when I travel, I'm like, I'm going to squeeze as much as I possibly can into every moment. So I extended a day, Friday, and then they couldn't get a hold of me. For some reason, they didn't use the app. They used my phone, and I had to get a SD card because my phone number it was a whole fucking thing. So I drive 30 minutes to the boat thing where we're supposed to go out for the reef, and they were like, oh, we tried to get a hold of you last night, like the winds aren't good, we canceled it.
The winds aren't good.
I don't know. So I was like, okay, so the whole reason I extended by a day I can't do, and they're like, well, we're gonna go out later, and I'm like, well, I have to leave later. Turns out I should have just stayed.
You should have just
gone to the fucking reef because I was gonna so it was like literally right before we were about to take off was when everything happened. And I feel like it would have been worse if you were in the air because they couldn't land.
Whoa, fuck.
Horrifying.
Way worse.
Absolutely horrifying. Yeah. So people couldn't land, they couldn't take off. And, we were there for probably 2 hours, and nobody knows what's happening. They're like, hey, I'm looking up the news. It's like all the grocery store chains, the banks, the airlines, hotel systems. It's all down. It's all down. They all relied on Microsoft technology.
Wow.
So the whole country was basically offline, and it was insane. And I was like, this is crazy. And I kept seeing people go up to the airline like attendant or whatever, and they're like, what's going on? I'm like, they're making announcements saying we'll know more in 15 minutes. Okay, we'll know more in 20 minutes. What are you going to bothering the guy for?
Right.
So that was annoying. But then so it was like it was just us on Jetstar, which is an Australian airline, which is terrible. Don't ever use them. Qantas is like their head company. So Virgin Australia is like, all right, everything's as normal. We're just delayed. And I was like, what the fuck? Let me get on there. So, we go downstairs, they're at baggage claim, and they were like, hey, go back home or go stay with your friends or whatever. We don't know when we're going to take off again. And I was like, hi, I don't live here.
Yeah.
What do I do? And he's like, I can't even get you a hotel. I don't even know what to do. And so
That's
people
such shit.
slept in the airport.
That is such shit.
And he literally was like, I've been where you are. And I was like, no, you haven't.
No.
This has never fucking happened in the history of the world.
That's Y2K light.
That's
Y2K.
That's Y2K.
Yeah,
100%
everything
was.
shut down. And there was somebody, you posted up something in the middle of all that crisis that someone got a whole $17 voucher.
Or like, here's like a meal ticket.
Here's a meal ticket.
No, people slept in the airport because they couldn't get up there because all the hotels were filled. And then, so I got a taxi or an Uber or whatever. I got a hotel an hour away. So it's like $100 for the taxi, $100 for the hotel stay, $100 back to the airport because no one's answering any phones.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll call you. And it was like 24 hours. And I'm like, when am I going home?
Fuck.
How many days am I going to? And they were like, it might be Wednesday. And I'm like, it's Saturday right now.
Yeah.
It was insane. And I'm like texting my work, like, I'm fucking trapped here. I don't know what I'm going to do. And they were like, sounds like a you problem.
Well, and their reasoning behind it was like, okay, yeah, granted, it was outside of their control. And that was their justification to not comp you on a hotel or whatever. But this is like a unique situation.
Exactly.
Where they're like, oh, you're a multi-billion-dollar industry.
CEO's was $4 million.
And the customer is what keeps your business going.
Right.
And, when shit like that goes down, yeah, it sucks. I mean, I don't know how to run a business. I don't know anything.
I do. You fork it over and you sue them later.
Yeah, or you fork over enough to where there is no lawsuit. Like, how about a couple of bands worth?
No, I mean like the airline should sue CrowdStrike.
Yeah,
Here's all the money that you put us out.
And Microsoft is even bigger, which is like, Bill Gates, how many houses do you have? And
sell one and we're fine.
Let me see those plane tickets to the Epstein Island or whatever the fuck that was. It was like encroaching maybe trillions of dollars, this company. And they're like, we're just doing an update at 2 a.m. when people are not awake. Well, like, it's not 2 a.m. everywhere, buddy.
It was 4 p.m. for me.
Yeah, shit. That's terrible.
It was insane, yeah. And I mean, everyone else was so kind. Like, the hotel, they were like, well, we do have a cheaper room because it's not, like, ready because it's, like, kind of fucked up. Yeah. And I was like, I'll take whatever.
Someone was having a keg party the night before.
It was like, some of the stuff was peeling and whatever. And then, like, it was, like, that day I should have gone in the ocean because it was 30 degrees Celsius. Ooh. So it was like bath water.
Hold on, the math ain't math. That's cold?
That's really hot.
That's really hot.
Really hot. So it was like I said, bath water. Warm bath water. And then the next day, I was like, I'll go in the ocean today. Fucking freezing. I was like, God damn it!
Oh, man.
I should have left on fucking Thursday. So hopefully I'm sure there's going to be like a class action lawsuit or whatever.
There's got to be something. Like, there's going to be a commercial soon. I hope, were you affected by the global IT crisis? Yeah. You might be entitled to financial compensation.
I got all the receipts.
Yeah, you've got all the receipts. You've got all that stuff. It's a good thing you had, I want to say, apocalypse money. Because you were able to, like, buffer through the disaster. Yeah, you had enough to... Can you imagine being like, okay, this is my vacation time. I've spent all of my vacation money on this thing. no room for error, no
Yeah.
room for really, like, maybe a couple of souvenirs.
I was like,
or
I'm saving
something.
all for
Yeah.
the airport before I leave.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Holy shit. That is traumatic.
It was insane.
And then and we can feel free to edit this part out for the Patreon exclusive. And for the Patreon people, we're so glad that you listened to that. For the normal people, the rest of that was bleeped out. It was edited. So give me some money.
Patreon.
Maybe if the only way to find out about that is that he would have to give me $5.
You would have to subscribe to your Patreon.
He would have to subscribe to it and give you $5. But for, if names get named, if things get mentioned that you want, like, cut out, it'll be a Patreon exclusive.
Nice.
At your discretion when I get to the editing part
Hell
of it. So, if shit drops, I got you.
But we're being honest.
I got you. Anyway, moving on. I think this correlates to the next question. What are some pet peeves that you've got?
I have so many pet peeves.
Yeah,
and
what's some
that
pet
goes to
peeves?
my current issue, which is my roommate.
Your roommate? We can talk about that. That doesn't
my
have to be
God.
Patreon exclusive.
No, it doesn't, because I don't think she's on any of my socials.
She's not going to listen to this.
And if she does, I would like her to hear it.
Yeah, what are some pet peeves about your roommate?
She, like, there's like a code, like there's a code where you respect each other's space and you like, we're not friends. Like, I've known her for a month. We're not friends.
Yeah.
And she, like, I think maybe she just doesn't know how to interact with people socially.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess she's not from here. So she didn't grow up in the U.S. So there's things that just aren't normal to her.
Okay.
But in that sense, then I have to, like, explain it to her.
Yeah.
And that just takes so... I work all day. I talk to people all day. I have to deal with, coworkers and clients and all this stuff. And then I come home and I'm like, oh, I just want to watch my anime and I want to make my little earrings.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is explain culture.
Oh my God.
off
It's
the
like,
clock.
what's the, like, I run the dishwasher. What's that sound? It's a dishwasher.
Dishwasher.
She's like, wow, there's water coming out of the sink. I'm like, have you never had a dishwasher?
That's a sink?
No, like, there's like a little spout,
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Water.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha,
She's
gotcha.
like, oh! But, everything's like a big, and I'm like, the dishwasher's draining water. Like, oh my God.
Is she, forgive me for sounding insensitive, is she fresh off the boat? Like, did she just
She
get
said
here?
she's been here for 2 years.
Okay,
so
okay.
That's like enough time, I feel like, to have lived and understood.
2 years I feel is definitely, especially in Los Angeles, like, it's 2 years is definitely enough to go, okay, there's a lot of people here. Traffic accounts for, travel time and all that.
She doesn't have a car.
She doesn't have a car. Okay.
She doesn't have a car, and she expected of me to drive her places.
What?
Like the grocery store.
Like you're a chauffeur? Like, oh, come drive me to the store for me.
Well, she's like, if you go to Trader Joe's, like, let me come with. And I was like, oh, if we get along, sure. But I'm like, I don't want...
Oh, if it's a mutual shopping trip, then sure, okay.
But now I'm like, I don't want to be in the car with you. I don't want to... she's like one of those where she's like, we'll go to the car, and we'll go to the grocery store, and we'll go get dinner, and I'm like, the last thing I want to do is talk to a person when I am home.
Yeah.
Unless I have made plans. That's my big thing. Like, I need to know what's going on for the day. But it's like, her thing is like, she's always underfoot, and then she will approach me at the worst time. So it's like, I go get my tires fixed. It's 100 degrees out. I have a full day at work. I finally go to Trader Joe's because I haven't had a car in like 4 days. The moment I get home, I drop off the groceries. I open the refrigerator. Hi! Do you need help?
Oh, Lord.
Do you need help rearranging the furniture? And I was like, I thought I was being very direct, and I said, because she does it all the time. She's like, you need help? You need help? You need help? I'm like, if I need your help with something, I will ask for your help with something.
Are you
Thank
married?
you.
Jesus.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm good, basically. And she's like, okay, well, I need you to, like, tell me if stuff's going on, because I can't deal with being passive-aggressive. And I was like, okay, here's the thing. I don't think we work well as roommates.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to move out. There it is.
Yeah.
And then she started arguing with me. She had just argued with me about the bills. She's like, show me the bills. And I'm like, are you saying you don't trust me?
Right.
So it's just all bad. It's all
that doesn't
bad.
make sense, because she wants to know what the bill is, but Granted, I think you all are pretty much splitting it 50-50,
Yeah.
right? So whatever the bill is, it's half that.
She's assuming I'm like lying to her.
Oh, wow. That's
and no one has ever been like, I need you to physically show me the bill before. So I was like, you know what? Next time I'll just screenshot the entire bill and you can do your own math. Okay?
That's trust issues on her end, too.
So weird.
I get where she's coming from in that aspect as far as trust issues go. I am a control freak. I like being in control of stuff. And it's not that I don't trust someone, even though we've known each other, let's say, a month, you know. I am under the assumption that, okay, I'm moving into your place. I have already developed that trust enough to where, okay, this person has their shit together. So I'm gonna trust that you're going to pay half, because that's what needing a roommate is, which is like, this is, it's cutting it too close to handle these bills on my own. So you put out like a thing for roommate wanted on like Craigslist or something?
My roommate did. She basically found people. She was wonderful. She did this whole like PDF, and she's like, here's everybody's ages and their likes and dislikes and their little profile, because she fucked up a little bit too. She's like, I gotta move in 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm in Australia. Like, so I had to like interview people on the phone. It was so dumb. And everybody was like, I want a best friend. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want that.
Oh, that doesn't happen.
I want to come home and I want to do my shit and I want to be left alone. Which all my other roommates have done, except for my roommate who had the cat, because she would just never clean.
Oh no!
And that's the worst.
Having a cat, not cleaning.
The fucking litter box, bro.
Oh God!
The litter box. I should have like reported her to animal control. It was like the litter box would be filled.
Oh shit!
And and she got mad at me one time because I just emptied it, because she left it in, you know, like, let's say like this is the common space, right? And like that's our, let's say like if your brother still lived here and that was like your like together bathroom, she just left it in like the closet in the living room. So it was like the furthest away from her, closest to me, and I'm like, I can smell the cat shit.
So the cat is sand filling that sandbox with shit, and it's a cat. Cats can kind of go everywhere on a table where you eat your food.
Well, the issue was she just kept filling the box up. Because you're supposed to clean it once a day.
The box.
Once a day. So that poor cat was just sitting in its own shit.
Oh, poor baby.
She's the sweetest little baby. Oh. She like, oh my God, she needs to be like drawn and quartered. Like, she had a plate where she'd put the cat's food. And, you know, as a normal human being, I would assume, you're like, cool, dirty plate, gonna put that plate in the dishwasher, I'm gonna bring out a new plate. She would just leave it for weeks.
Oh, no,
so there's all this caked on food, and she's just putting food on top of caked on food. So I'm like, this girl like has some kind of something going on.
And
there's some kind of
bacteria
thing.
spreads, and then the cat gets sick.
The cat puked all the time. The cat puked all the time. And who was cleaning it up? Me, because the cat would stay with me and hang out with me all the time. She was barely in my roommate's room, so I'm like, clearly the cat is like, oh, the person who's like feeding me and getting me water and like cleaning out my box. I love her.
Oh, that's my mama now.
100%.
Oh
100%.
God, yeah, you'd be a great cat lady.
That's my next venture.
I am in your stories because we're friends. You love the stray cats that you find.
There's a whole lore about that. There's like 10 or 12 stray cats that live in Grand Park. There's one who's not fixed. His name is Horny Bastard, HB.
You named him.
I didn't name him. There's a whole community of people who feed those cats every day, and some lady told me, she gave me all the lore of all the cats. So he's not fixed. He's gotten 2 of the cats pregnant, Cloud, the little white one, and there's one named Oreo. They both have gotten pregnant and had kittens, and now they're all fixed. So all the cats are fixed except him. There's one cat that I call Milo, who's black. There's 2 other black cats. There's 2 turtles. There's one Siamese I've only seen one time because she likes to hide. And then there's 2 stripy tabbies. I don't know what that, like Frankie. Whatever.
Orange tabby?
No, they're like gray and brownish.
Gray and brown.
Like
I
Frankie
couldn't
was.
tell you. I'm more of a dog person.
Yeah. I thought I was too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 3 of them are sweet peas, and they come up to me every single day. Some of them are like a little more, but the white one I'm gonna try to steal.
You can.
Is it allowed?
you can.
I'll
You can steal.
I'll take care of her.
You know, just don't be what Trump is saying. Like, they're eating the cats.
Oh my God.
They're eating the dog.
That's
like,
what
dude,
I'll do that
fuck?
to take all the heat off the Haitians.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'm born in California.
There's white women stealing feral cats.
Jesus. Yeah, giving them a better life. How dare they?
Oh yeah, for real. Which brings me to my next question. Do you think having a cat? Well, I'm kind of dancing around it. So do you think having a cat would sort of like prevent you from having a mental breakdown because you have a little fur baby to pet?
Well, that's the thing.
And bring home and like love and stuff. And now that you don't have one, do you think you'd be more prone to like oh, I need to like not freak out? But if there's a cat, you'd be less likely to freak out. Because they feed off of your energy.
That's a great question.
You know what I mean?
That's the grand question.
Yeah.
Because I listed it all out, like all the things that happened by month this year. Because for those who don't know me, I had, got trapped in Australia, had my tires slashed. I got in 2 car accidents.
Your lung got poked.
I got poked in the lung and had my lung almost collapse. I got a punctured lung by accident by a doctor.
And that was because you had a different checkup for something else completely, right?
I was getting checked out for my back problems.
Oh, your back problem, right. And they went in there and fucking poked your shit?
Go to the hospital. Just my luck.
Yeah.
My mirrors got stolen. I got in trouble. Written up at work. What else?
So like a cat.
My friend killed herself.
Oh,
my grandma died.
Oh.
So that's been my year.
It's so much bad luck.
Over and over and over. And so... But I realized my dad cut off my phone. I haven't talked to him in a year.
Mm-hmm.
I realized August, it all kind of started happening July, August, and that's when my roommate left who had the cat.
Mm.
So now I'm like, that might be the key to getting all the good vibes back up.
You need some kind of animal to help you, sort of give you some oxytocin. Yeah. Kind of like a supportive, caring relationship, except it's a cat, and you don't want to give bad vibes to the cat because then the cat will be like, oh shit.
Well, just erase. Yeah. She'll just erase all my bad vibes.
You'll magically, figure out to keep your composure. Because if you're by yourself to your own devices, like you bet I'm on the floor crying.
Yeah.
You bet I'm in the shower alone, fucking crying. Oh God, when my dog died last year, I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I was a wreck.
Getting an animal is like postponing grief, basically.
Oh yeah. And when because my mom had him, and she spent several months de-dogging the place, leaving behind, just getting rid of any evidence that a dog was ever there because she couldn't get over it. And now she has a little baby.
Yeah,
She's a little baby named Butter, and she's a white half Chihuahua, half something else.
That's what you have to do. Yeah. You just have to have another child.
Yeah, you just have to move on. Just have another baby. Like, this one died.
The LA animal shelters are full.
They're very much full.
They're so full.
Yeah, they were full when I went over there with my mom to go. We were picking out a dog, and she was like, I want this little one. Oh, it's so cute. And they fucking lied to us. They said she was like 4 or 5 years old. She's a baby.
Oh, why would they do that?
Like 1 to 2 years old.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. Maybe they don't know anything and they took a guess.
Oh, I'm sure they don't know
maybe
anything.
They took a wild
guess. Was it
guess.
the LA animal shelter?
It was the one in Van Nuys, West Valley.
Is it like government run?
I don't know.
Oh.
But it seemed kind of like chaotic. So they said on the paperwork that the dog is like 4 or 5 years old. I'm like, okay, this is an adult dog. She is hyper. She is very motivated by attention.
But I mean, she's a Chihuahua.
She's like a half Chihuahua, half something. But she's a baby.
Are you gonna do a dog DNA test?
I mean, if I had the resources for it, I would. But just like hella zoomies, dude.
Oh shit.
Hella zoomies. I'm like, this is not what I mean. Like dogs get their zoomies.
Yeah.
It happens when all you have to do is. That's it. And she is just already hot, like
ready to go.
She's
hot to go.
She's ready. She's ready. God, don't get that song stuck in my head. Get out.
I wonder if they thought people would adopt the dog more if it was older, because some people don't want a baby.
Some people don't want a baby because then they have to go through the trouble of training it, potty training, and going through all that other stress. And they're like, oh, I don't want to do this. I want a dog that already knows what's up. Or even so, like if it was a senior dog, like, oh, what's the point? Because then the dog's already, you already develop an emotional bond with an old dog.
I'd adopt a senior animal. Let them live out
their golden
lives.
years. Yeah,
not in the fucking pound or to get euthanized.
Yeah,
shit.
Oh, there were some that were given up by their owners because like they either moved or like the building didn't want pets.
Yeah.
or just given up. And I'm like, who would do that? Like,
Chris Pratt.
I couldn't.
Chris Pratt.
He gave up his babies?
Gave up a cat.
Oh, dude,
Just
not
another
cool.
reason he
Oh,
sucks. Well,
that's shitty.
I don't know if you know. No one. I'm sure no one knows the Los Angeles City Controller, Kenneth Mejia.
I don't.
But so he's someone I know very well, and he ran for city controller and won the position over like a lifetime politician. He's been an accountant for his whole life, and that is his passion project because he's got 2 little corgis, and so he reports on the animal shelter statistics. And a lot of it is, why'd you give up your animal? And he'll share graphs and data and stuff. And it's like, my landlord wouldn't let me, I'm moving the house, like something I can't afford to take care of it anymore. And because a lot of people got pets during COVID.
Yeah, a lot of people got COVID pets. And,
I think the city's saying you can't give them. I think they're saying you have to keep them. You have to honor them.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of people got a lot of extra money to spend, so people were like, "Oh, let's have a baby. Let's get a fur baby." And then it's like, "Oh, dude, your income kind of ran its course, and you can't live by those means anymore."
Exactly.
Yeah, that stinks, man. And I want to tail to the next question here because and this is something that you're very passionate about. Politics. Politics.
In my brain all the time.
All the time. So, does catching up with the news mess with your mental health?
Absolutely.
Kind of, absolutely easy question, but like,
absolutely does.
When you
unless I hear the Trump, they missed.
They missed again.
So that wasn't. Yeah. I didn't feel good about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it still sucks when someone who's running for president is, getting shot at, which is like, no matter how you feel about politics, like it's not the way. Like,
it's not the way.
We should be able to like, agree to disagree at the least, and not fucking have a crazy civil war.
Yeah.
I have friends that voted for Trump. They have their reasons. They're still my friends. More acquaintance. I don't talk to them as much, but I haven't deleted them from my life. And
you're different than me in that way.
You cut people off.
Yeah.
So, and, I'm not going to fault you for that because things are more emotionally charged and also very unserious because like the memes are great.
We're so unserious.
We don't care.
I mean, if you heard about the shooter guy, he went to Ukraine to fight in the army, and they're like, you have no army training, so you can't fight.
I caught some of that. What I caught was that Trump was talking shit about Taylor Swift, and then like an hour later, somebody was...
Swifties got it!
And I'm like, dude, you don't fuck with Swifties, man.
No, this guy, he was like a 56-year-old, like, he voted for Trump, and now he's a never Trumper, that kind of thing.
So you're informed on what goes on.
Hassan Piker gives me all the information.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I will say listening to Hassan makes me feel better sometimes because he unleashes like a ton of anger, but also like a bunch of humor. Mm-hmm. So it's like when I feel angry, he's like releasing that anger, and I'm like, okay, he gets it. Or like when Nancy Pelosi, when her husband got attacked, right?
Yeah.
He's like, no, brother, it was Paul Pelosi's gay lover, he was the one. So he'll make memes and stuff.
That kind of makes it more digestible, because like the world is on fire,
and it's fucking everywhere. Like I was in Australia. The first thing I saw,
I know, jerk the tail.
The first thing I saw was a bunch of Sydney Metropolitan Police harassing homeless people. It's like it's so funny because like conservatives think that they're red pilled, that they're the ones saying, when it's like they're the ones in the matrix clearly, because you're like, I'm watching you, and and my parents, I grew up with parents who were horribly racist and transphobic and homophobic, and luckily their opinions have changed as time has gone on, but then that just made me like so radical. And, hearing my dad be like, Michelle Obama's a man, it's just like, what is wrong with you? Like, people thinking that Hillary Clinton's running a sex cult out of a pizzeria.
Out of a pizza place, the Pizzagate thing,
Do you hear yourself,
It's
man?
wild. it's shit like this, which is why my mother was politically non-binary for 40-ish years. She didn't vote before 2016.
Yeah.
She hadn't voted since McGovern and Nixon.
Fair.
She was checked out.
Was she not a Bernie bro?
Yeah, but she was more in line with Hillary's stuff. Well, because her logic behind it was that he's so progressive that even if Bernie was elected, that none of his policies would get passed.
Yeah.
Because the other side of the aisle, like, we could have a Democratic president and a conservative House, and they could just fucking block shit from the jump. So it would kind of be like, 4 steps forward, 6 steps back. Right. So that was her kind of reasoning behind it. And the stakes were so high at the time, and she cried herself to sleep in 2016. And I was still drinking, so I blacked out that night.
Yeah.
And I was just mad. I think everybody was pretty much angry about it. But she checked out.
That's the worst part, was when I was at work when it was happening, and me and my other coworker were together, and we were like, this isn't happening. This there's no way. Yeah. This isn't happening. Yeah. And everyone was around us, just having dinner and stuff, and our coworker were like, Trump's winning, and my coworkers was like, I'm like, how can you just not
checked out?
Politics is life. Everything in your life has to do with politics. Yeah. And for people to just be like, I don't care. I'm like, I fucking hate
because they don't want to get charged up.
Well, me every day. Who doesn't want to live like this?
They don't want to deal with the bandwidth.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I'm trying my hardest to find a happy middle to be informed and be sane. So, as far as I know, as of right now, I'm still going to vote on the local stuff, because there's the local stuff
the most important
that's on the ballot, because you're immediately affected by that. 100%. For all I care, I'll write in Harambe. I'll fucking write in.
I'm going to do what the socialist candidates, a protest vote. Because I think if they get 5%, somebody said, then they get funding. So then that might be enough to push to be like, okay, we're going to create a third option. And
that's such a hard thing, because those fringe candidates don't get the stage time for debate or any media coverage. I remember Bernie talking about this. Because he got snubbed so fucking hard.
Oh my God.
We all know it. He got snubbed so hard, and I could just see his spirit breaking when he endorsed Biden in 2020. I could see it in his eyes, where I'm like, somebody told him something that he really didn't want to hear, but it was like the undeniable truth that he's right, that this is an oligarchy, that there's people up at the top pulling the strings that are it's just next to impossible to get any sort of foot in the door and really have a true democracy. And everybody's on the Kamala train right now. Cool.
And you can't say anything bad about her.
Can't say anything bad, because I'm a guy. If I say anything bad, I support Trump. I don't. Or I'm a misogynist. I'm not.
Or a racist.
I'm not. And it's like, it's straight up shadow government to me. Yeah. Because
everybody's doing basically. Yeah. They're like, who can fund Israel the most?
Yeah.
Who can destroy the working class the most?
We didn't vote for her.
No.
Do you remember when she was polling in single digits?
They brought that up at the debate, which was interesting. But Fox News said, they were like, we don't think they brought it up enough, which, sure, fair, but... And you can't even think about that, because you get so wrapped up in the optics of, wow, she made him look bad, and he took all the bait.
And even with that said, because they're just like, oh shit, am I agreeing with what Trump is saying? And you're like, oh God, what is happening? It's like, oh, am I giving brownie points to the guy that is a game show host on TV?
That's like when Andrew Tate was like, oh, I'm pro-Palestine, anti-Israel. I was like, fuck, shut up.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I don't like you, but you said something that aligns with my opinions.
I think he's now changed his mind completely.
Oh God, I'm so checked out with him too.
He's just such a grifter. He's probably in jail, I think, right now.
Yeah, he did something stupid.
He's just continuing to traffic women, and
yeah, that's what it was.
Romanian government is like, that's not cool.
Yeah, it's trafficking's bad.
You want to talk about real Pizzagate? How about him ordering the pizza?
How about him ordering the pizza?
After shitting on Greta Thunberg and then got arrested.
Yeah. How backwards have we gone now? I saw this meme. It was really funny. It was like, oh, the all cops are bastards are voting for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Who's a cop, and the blue people are voting for Trump, who's a convicted felon.
A literal criminal.
I'm like, what is happening?
And I think if we had any other, I'm like, where's Stacey Abrams? There's so many other, young progressive candidates, but I think the only way Biden would have said no was if it was Kamala. So
Yeah.
but yeah, they're like, I think, and this is maybe a controversial opinion, but I think white people are so stoked because they're like, if we elect a female president who's a person of color, all the misogyny and all the racism are just gone. It's the same with Obama. They're like, I voted for Obama. I'm not racist.
It's funny you say that because everybody who voted for Obama is like, oh, we're not a racist country anymore. More black people got shot by cops when Obama was in office. More school shootings were happening.
I remember.
And it's like, outside of his control, but it's like,
right.
Oh, we're not racist. We're fucking racist.
But, and then now I think people are comfortable to be like, yeah, he drone striked a ton of fucking people in the Middle East. That was not okay.
Right. Meanwhile, George Bush is doing painting.
They're all war criminals. They're all war criminals. The U.S. president is a war criminal.
Yeah, God.
They all just love to murder people in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember. I mean, they had like hanging effigies like of Obama that they would set on fire. I remember I grew up in Napa. I was driving from Santa Rosa to Napa to see my parents because I lived there, and I see a woman at the post office. She's got a big old sign with Obama, and he had a Hitler mustache, and she said, Obama is Hitler. And I go up to her, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
She's probably saying Bush was Hitler 8 years prior.
Right. But I talked to her, and she was like, and like she was like so far gone. I was like, your brain is full of poison. Yeah. Like, there's no talking to you.
I don't want to go that far and get so emotionally invested into, political opinions and stuff where it's just like, we're on the fucking, crazy train. And it's like,
and that's a source of a lot of depression.
It's
a lot of
very
depression.
Much so. And those folks, God bless them. But it's like, I'm happy that you're active in your community, but at the cost of what, at the cost of like, your grip on reality. Like, people will believe whatever Trump says, even if he's horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And Kamala too. It's like people they'll just believe it because they want to stick with that. And
they want things to be normal again.
Yeah. And it used to be, I looked at a debate between Mitt Romney and Obama. And there were points where there was like it was a highlight reel of stuff that they both agreed on.
Yeah.
And like cracking jokes and like kind of like, it's still a serious debate, but it's like, let's make this at least, kind of somewhat lighthearted so that people can be engaged.
Yeah.
And now because of Trump, it's just become this fucking unhinged
clown
game show. It's ridiculous. And I hope we can recover it from it one day because we're just off the rails at this point.
We have to basically put age gaps on people in office.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
that. Like I work in catering right now and I see, 70-year-old, 60-year-old, 7-year-old people working catering. They they're hunched over. They can't have
fix my pasta.
Right. They can't like hold a conversation, because they're ancient. And it's like, that's fine, but it's like, you should not be working. You should be out living your golden years. Meanwhile, my grandmother, she lived back when it was your husband, made all the money. Mm-hmm. She divorced him because he was an abusive alcoholic, and she just pulled up by her bootstraps, and she went out and she cleaned houses to, take care of her 3 kids. She didn't have any money. She wasn't getting enough money from fucking Social Security or retirement, so she worked until she died, basically.
Oh my God.
80 years old. And that's, what are we doing,
Dude, have your golden years. Like, whether you served in the military or not, like, good job. You worked. You were part of the hive mind of, the country. It's like, here's your Social Security. Like, my mom's got her pension from the movie business.
Yeah.
It's like, we're done. She's done. 70 years old, retired conveniently when COVID hit.
Right.
It's like, okay, good. You did your part. Go relax.
Right.
Because she couldn't. She's 70, but she's like 120 in cocaine years. It's fucking, she should not work.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, let the, and then they're like, oh, these ageist kids, because you don't know how to make a PDF, and I have to teach you, and you're getting paid more than me. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just, and we know as a country we could do it if we stopped arming Israel and we stopped fucking sending putting all our money in the fucking military and the Pentagon and shit, and we were like, here's that money, live your life, be happy. Meanwhile, it's like, my grandma's like trying to make money cleaning somebody's floors. She's 80 fucking years old. It's disgusting.
It's that frustration that makes people have a mental breakdown.
Right.
The theme of the show.
But then they're like, no, it's not the fact that we could afford to have your grandma live rent free.
Yeah.
It's that there's trans people eating your pets.
Mm-hmm. Trans
in
people
prison.
eating your pets, and the greedy people, they need that 8th yacht. They need another yacht. And the whales know.
Oh, the
whales know.
That's
They're
the good
fucking
news.
up the yachts, the silver lining.
And the billionaires are like, let's go down and into the Mariana Trench. It's like, please.
Oh, there was another guy. There was a boat.
I don't know if he got found.
No, he was. Yeah, he didn't get found. It was a tech billionaire from Italy or something.
Hell yeah.
He was a British tech billionaire. They were in.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah.
British
tech billionaire, and he just never got found. And it's like, karma's a bitch.
I mean,
just saying,
he could, have possibly had like a bunch of, he was about to get found by whatever the British IRS is, and he made a new identity. Either way.
Yeah. I mean, who am I? I don't know what he did or didn't do. I don't know anything. But it's like the people that at the top need to realize that the people on the bottom are what holds the whole fucking thing up.
There's more of us than you.
Yeah, there's more of us than you. Remember that movie A Bug's Life?
That's exactly what it's about.
Where the grasshopper is going like, as soon as they figure out that they can overpower us because they're outnumbered like 100 to 1, they'll fucking defeat us. So we gotta keep them. We gotta keep them down, and that's exactly what's happening. And it's funny because that's Disney saying that.
Well, and have you seen my joke about that?
I don't remember.
My parents are like, we think you're woke because you went to college, which is hilarious because my dad and I went to the same fucking college.
And he's conservative as shit.
And he's conservative, and I mean, I think he voted for Joe Biden, but he studied poli-sci.
Uh-huh.
So poli-sci major, a finance minor, whatever the fuck. Finance and my dad don't go all together. He works in finance. He was a political science major. He's been like a what's it called? A grand jury. He's been like, the neighborhood elects a jury or whatever the fuck. So he's been that person. He hates cops.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, you think that I got radicalized because I learned some stuff? No, I got radicalized because Pocahontas said, don't blow up the environment. Don't go with that white man to England.
Uh-huh.
Like, fuck the colonizers and save the planet, And then Cinderella, she's like, I don't need a man. Like, he's like, tell me your name. She's like, no, like, bye. This was it for me.
Yeah.
And he follows her. Sleeping Beauty, he's like, when am I going to see you again? She's like, never. And runs away. It's like, these women were like, I don't need a fucking man. That's a radical. They're like, Disney's woke now. It's always been woke, bitch.
It's always been, and it's been indoctrinating our youth for decades.
Literally decades.
The whole, Prince Charming comes in on the white horse and saves the day or whatever. My first movie was Aladdin, which was I love that movie, but it made it seem like it was okay to lie.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
Because he's like, I want to be a prince and impress the girl. I'm like, yeah, but we're lying here. And like this, and it's also like a homeless youth kind of lying his way to the top of the political food chain, which is like, hello.
And if they made it today, it could be way more of a commentary about like, you have everything and I have nothing.
Yeah,
but I know Jasmine too was like, she was a badass bitch. She didn't need no man.
Trapped in her house.
Yeah.
Can't go anywhere.
Well, but then she was like, I want to go and see what the people are experiencing. I don't want to be in the palace. I want to go, like, she was like fucking Princess Diana. She's like, I want to go out there. I want to see what people are experiencing, see what their issues are.
Yeah, look what happened there. Princess Diana. Yeah, I want to see what's happening. Good God.
Diana. My mom's obsessed with Diana.
Oh, God. I remember my mom loved her too, because she loved her, and I remember the
my mom loves her more. I promise you. I think my mom got married because Princess Diana got married.
Was the TV on nonstop on the same news?
I wasn't born yet.
You weren't even born yet. Oh my! Wait, when did she die? 94, 95?
I was born in 93.
You were a baby then.
I was, yeah.
You were a baby.
I don't know what was on the
Because I'm not that far off of you, and I remember it being like rampant.
24/7 Diana watch.
24/7 Diana watch.
My mom went to Australia because Diana went to Australia.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's like a Taylor Swift, oh, she went and sat on this bench, so I'm going to go sit on this, pay millions of dollars to go sit on this bench, Taylor.
Yeah.
It's maybe a little obsessive.
A little bit.
Obsessive.
Next question, second to last question, because I don't know how much juice this camera has. Have you ever had a job where you quit as fast as possible?
All of them.
All of them?
Is there such thing as a good job? That's the question.
Oh, okay. That is a good question.
Have you ever had a good job that you liked?
I mean, the one I have now, I tolerate it.
You know, would you do it if you had to do it forever?
If I had the means, I would.
Really?
Like, because things are just tight for me now. I would quit and do something else.
Yeah.
But I can't, so I'm like kind of cornered.
Yeah.
So I've quit jobs within like a week.
Oh, it's never been that fast for me.
It hasn't been that fast for you? What's the quickest? Like a couple months?
Well, my dad used to harass me that it's better to find a job when you have a job. That's not how he sounds, but it will for this bit. I'm trying to think. I remember one time I was in an interview and it ended up being a Cutco sales position.
Oh God, I know that one.
I ran out of there.
You ran out? I fell for it.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm a white guy that likes sharp objects. So, I'm like,
were you diagnosed then?
No, I was diagnosed when I was a little guy.
Oh.
And I was like, ooh, knives, look, it can cut the penny in half.
Oh, my God. That might be a conversation for another time is, you got diagnosed early.
Very early.
I got diagnosed at 28 during the pandemic.
No shit. How did that happen? Okay, explain that. We can delve into that a little bit.
My therapist, she's like, I think that you have ADHD. And I was like, you're fucking wrong.
As an adult
in 2020. And she goes, okay, tell me this. Do you like make piles because you need to know where everything is? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, if you put something away, do you not know where it is? I was like, yeah.
Happens.
She's like, do you like forget if you're going to do something? Do you like forget? You find yourself in the kitchen like, I'm like,
every day at work.
Yeah.
Like, why did I walk in here? There's a reason.
But then it's so much deeper, She's like, if someone's giving you feedback, do you think that they are attacking you personally?
And
I was like, absolutely. She's like,
no shit. No shit.
And she was absolutely the fuck right.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I get, I flood. So flooding, it's a form of like ADHD paralysis.
Oh.
Where you're thinking a lot of thoughts at once.
Yeah.
Like if there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
Like if I have a really busy day, I have to like fucking sit down and breathe for a second before I do the first thing. Because I'm thinking about the first 6 things.
Yeah, I have to write that all down.
Yeah, before I do one thing. Because I need to do 3 of the things all at once. So I feel like I'm getting more done. I feel like I'm getting more done, more productive when I do 3 things at once. Because I'll be in the back of the house at work in the kitchen. I'll have the dishes going. I'll have the food prep going, and I'll have something else going all at the same time. And I can get it done. And my boss is like, you can do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but it's busy, and I'm the only person here, and I have to get it. And it's just like I start to fucking like freak out, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a constant thing that I need to work on. Where I'm like, okay, I can catch up in a timely manner and not have to like come out into the front of the house and be like high strung.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I constantly work on. I have my Gen Z coworkers; they're all cute and like peach fuzz for the guys, and the girls are there's one girl who's 19. The tips are heavy, and she's very cute. She's very demure, as they say, and like she's very nice. And I am 33. I am an old, according to her, and I don't get as many tips because I'm fucking neurotic and shit. I'm like, you stay up there, you make the place clean, you keep the people happy. I'll do everything else.
You be the face.
Yeah, but when it's me at the early shift, like doing everything, I'll get like I need to catch up now. Yeah. And it's
set the state. And also maybe controlling a bit, right?
Yeah, very much.
I need to set the day to go well.
I have to do it so I know that things are in order.
Yeah.
Whereas opposed to having trust in someone else to do it. I mean, not that I don't, but just like that's part of my control freak problem.
But also, if there's a decade between you and your coworkers.
Sure, yeah. I mean, God, some of them, and I remember when we were like in our late teens, early 20s, like, oh, millennials are entitled and lazy, and here I am thinking, shit, Gen Z is entitled and lazy. I'm like, oh no, it's happening to me now.
They're getting it done. they're
They
like,
are?
you're not going to pay me, then I'm not going to take the job.
Then
You're
they're
not
just-
going to pay me what I deserve.
then they're out,
Fuck
yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
My spot, it's $20 an hour.
Hell yeah.
Because Newsom passed that law. If a food place has more than 60 locations, it's got to be 20.
I'm
Sounds
surprised.
great.
I'm surprised they didn't try to be like, okay, we're going to separate into East and West or North and South or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
to get out of
what
it.
business owners are doing is they're like, okay, shit, I got to pay some kid $20 an hour. Let's cut their hours.
Yep.
It's like, fuck, okay.
And it's worse.
Yeah.
And then your business shuts down because people notice that your employees are unhappy.
There's no people because then it'll be busy and there's like, if it's just me, God, it was the first week school gets back. 3 schools got out at once. We had a big, crazy school rush. It was just me and my boss. And I'm like, you knew this was going to happen?
Yeah. This is my mental breakdown,
Yeah.
okay?
Where's
Is
the people?
there's so much data about, hey, if you pay people a living wage and you give them some kind of stock in the company or, decision-making powers, they're happy and they work with you for longer.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, I'll just come, I'll do the dishes, and I'll fucking leave, and that's my day, and that's all I need. And then there's other people who are like, I want to rise through the ranks, I want to be,
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing with fucking homelessness. So, like, if you put money in to house people and don't fucking throw cops at them, homelessness goes down.
Yeah.
And there's so much data on shit like that everywhere. And they're like, but what if we keep doing what we're doing, but we make it worse? It's just like,
Oh, God.
what? Like, that's what drives me insane. Like, I can't. And that's my problem is I expect everybody to have the same way of thinking that I do, and that's just not possible.
Yeah.
But so then I get angry because I'm like, why don't you treat people the way that they deserve to be treated?
Yeah.
Just be nice.
If you ran the world,
I can't run for president. People would take all my comedy context and
Oh,
just
no, not
it'd be
at all.
terrible.
Plus, the job is too hard. You see what that job does to people?
I'd be like, I'm your first president with ADHD. Like,
Oh,
guys,
that's a great idea.
I'm what's the word? I'm trying to think of a Gen Z word. I'm based.
You're based?
I'm the first based president.
See, I can't. There's a few Gen Z words that I know, but I don't want to make commonplace in my own lingo. Because
Yeah.
I'm just like, because they're going to look at me and go, like, you're 30, cringe. Don't say, why are you saying
Don't
our
say
shit?
you're a Rizzler.
I'm still saying shit like psych or as if. Say shit like that, dude. Yeah.
As if I'm
Sciism.
living in the past.
Yeah, I'll say my own shit, but if you're like pushing 40 and you're saying Gen Z stuff, Andrew Schultz, buddy, it's just weird. It's just weird.
I stopped paying attention.
I mean, because he's like, he's like the guy that goes when he agrees with you, he's like, oh, that's fire. That's fire, bro. I'm like, you're 46.
If it doesn't happen naturally, don't do it.
Yeah, it's because his audience is young and he's trying to like relate to them, and he's very talented. But I'm just like some of the slang. I'm like, bud,
you don't have to.
That's like when our parents were like, what are the Pokemans? I'm like, buddy,
Shut your fucking mouth.
I know you know how it's spelled. You're smart, but you're just saying it that way to patronize me.
Well, and you know what's funny too is I noticed a lot of words come back. Like I thought our generation was the one who was like cool beans and
Cool
tight
beans.
and
Yeah,
shit.
tight,
No,
yeah.
that's from the 80s. I remember there was a Six Flags Vallejo. Oh my god!
What?
You want to talk about fucking being burdened with information? Do you know what the Six Flags are?
What are the Six Flags?
They're the flags over Texas, and one of them includes the Confederate flag for when
No
Texas was a part of the
shit.
Confederate.
No shit.
I learned this the other day.
Oh my god.
So they want to call it Five Flags.
I don't know.
So Five Flags in Vallejo had a Tony Hawk ride, and they had all this like skateboarding lore, and I was such a little stuck up bitch, and I was like, cool beans. In 1982, no, we invented that. Like, so awful.
I don't want to call it Five Flags. It's too ingrained.
Five
It's
Flags.
too
FF.
ingrained. It's too ingrained
We'll call
in
it
here.
FF.
It's like when Staples Center became Crypto.com Arena. I'm not fucking
No
calling
one's
it
calling it that.
Crypto.com.
No one's
I'm
calling
not-
it that.
I'll
To be
dead
fair,
shit.
well, it's Six Flags fucking, oh my god, Marine World. That's what it's called.
Marine World?
It's the same thing. It was called Marine World, and they changed it to Discovery Kingdom. Nobody calls it Discovery Kingdom.
What's is this a theme park that I'm not familiar with?
In Vallejo, yeah.
In Vallejo?
In Northern California.
All right, yeah, definitely not familiar
That
with it.
was our Magic Mountain.
That was your Magic Mountain? Wait, so it's called Magic Mountain here.
Yes.
But it's called Marine World.
Because they
over
had,
there.
yes, because they had, that's where they filmed 50 First Dates.
Oh, right.
So like
Yes.
Yeah. So they used to have a bunch of like animals on display. So it was Marine World, and then they started adding rides, and then they got the, Six Flags and the like DC universe, and then they were like, we probably shouldn't have all these animals.
Oh God.
And so now it's mostly just a theme park. But yeah, it used to be called Marine World, and they saw what was happening with SeaWorld, and they're like, we don't want to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But we all call it Marine World.
I'm still gonna, exactly. I'm still gonna call it Staples Center.
No one's calling it crypto.
It's too many syllables.
I actually have to call it that in like a professional capacity because some of our people work there, so we have to call it crypto. But other than that, everyone says Staples Center.
You put on a Dodger hat first before you.
Oh God! I have one Dodger hat, but it says LACAB.
CAB. Okay, got it. I got it.
And then I found out after they have a SF one, but it says SFTP.
SFTP?
Fuck
It's
the
TP.
police.
Fuck the police. Okay, got it.
Tenemos, we love them.
We should make a bet one day. Not that I pay attention to sports, but whoever gets to the playoffs first should wear the opposing teams.
Where was I? I went to a Rams game with the person you mistake my friend with, redhead.
Oh yes.
And one of his friends. And Max, I just keep thinking Hebrew strawberry.
I love Max.
Yeah.
I love Max. Yeah.
And we went to a preseason game, and it was the Rams versus the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the Chargers moved back to LA.
Their stadium is in Carson. It doesn't count.
Oh.
It's just they want to call themselves the LA Chargers, but they don't fucking play. They're in Orange County.
Oh, well, they share the stadium apparently.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were both there and they were both playing, and so it was like LA versus LA, and they have the same fucking colors.
Yeah, that's confusing.
And so I wore my Warriors shit. I'm like, yeah, granted,
sports,
yellow. And then somebody would lose. It's like half the stadium would be like, boo, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, what are we doing? We're just fighting ourselves.
It's like when the Angels called themselves the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Oh.
Hi, that doesn't work.
No.
That's not.
Well, all my teams are fucking moving to Vegas.
Yeah, the
Raiders and now the A's.
Yeah, the A's. Are the A's going to be in Vegas?
Yeah, man.
Shit.
I think they're planning to. It's like, what the fuck? You're in Oakland since your inception.
Oakland kind of sucks.
I mean, well, no, it's like hella gentrified now.
Mm-hmm.
They're gentrifying like all of Oakland. But I mean, that's like the culture, right? Like the Warriors were in Oakland, the A's were in Oakland. Now the Warriors are in the city, and everybody else is moving to Vegas.
They're
I'm
just
like, fuck
the
you.
city, like it says on their jersey.
Well, that's what we call San
It's
Francisco.
Golden State, but that's the whole state. Like it's like the Golden State Warriors. That's a generalization.
I mean, they're California's
team.
team.
They're California. Yeah,
fuck the Lakers
for sure. Oh God, ooh, you're pressing some nerves.
I don't really
You're pushing some buttons.
I don't even give a shit about sports. This is the best part. I don't even really give a shit about sports. I don't give a shit about sports. That's the best part. I don't give a shit. But for some reason, I love the NorCal versus SoCal.
Yeah, it's fun.
I will do that until I die. I love it
it's
so
fun.
much.
And I said hella 45 minutes ago, and that's just me code switching with you.
I didn't even clock that. Oh my God. But I mean, when I see like Warriors flags, I'm like, I'm home.
Yeah.
But there's so much overlap. Like, I love one of my chefs wears an SF hat to work all the time, and I'm like, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Three Twins ice cream. You never heard of
What's Three Twins ice cream?
It's an ice cream where there were two brothers who were twins, and then one of the brothers married a girl who was a twin, so they called it Three Twins.
Okay.
It's a fantastic ice cream brand in NorCal. They moved to like Milwaukee and they shut down.
Boo!
Shut down.
It's because fucking Milwaukee.
Depressing.
They've got a bunch of fucking dairy everywhere else. They're
They
competing.
don't need it. Well, and it's if you've ever heard of Russian River, the Pliny the Younger.
Doesn't ring a bell.
You've never. Even when you were drinking, wow. It's like the biggest like craft brewery in like the state. Russian River Brewing Company. It's huge. And they've got Russian River.
Never
Lagunitas is like in the same area.
Okay.
Lagunitas also started as Northern California, but then they got bought out by Coors or whatever in Chicago.
Moved to San Diego?
They're also in Chicago.
Okay.
So they're all over the place. So now they're like, but that's what I love about Santa Rosa, Sonoma area is it's so very like I have this business and I make this ice cream and I make it super well and maybe I'll expand a little bit in California, but that's it. Like it's very like local focus and everything is so good because it's so local focus.
Yeah.
And LA, like I feel like that's such a rarity sometimes because it's like I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that was a chain restaurant that I went to that's all over the country.
Yeah.
Like fucking Trejo's Tacos.
Trejo.
Where's Danny Trejo? He's not there.
He's not there.
He's not making the tacos.
He's off making movies,
He's
man.
being machete, I know.
He's being fucking machete.
Well, Kevin Hart's restaurant just closed down. All his vegan restaurants.
He has a restaurant? God.
That's the thing, you
Stay
know.
in your lane.
I know.
Stay in your fucking. I know they want to like capitalize on like their wealth and like spread it around. I get it, but just like, dude, do movies, do comedy, entertain. Like,
stop it right now.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart's funny. He's very funny. His movies are funny, but like,
Okay.
I like them. Jumanji wasn't terrible.
I feel like at this point,
That Jumanji wasn't terrible.
his whole bit is just like, I'm crazy and I have energy.
He's like, I'm short and crazy and I have a lot of energy. That's him.
And I'm gonna fight the rock.
It's sort of like that manic energy.
Yeah. Which I have, but I'm like, well, you know, I think he's been like homophobic before and stuff. So
yeah, that's why he didn't host the Oscars that one year because he
right.
said something and then he apologized about it, but it was also like years ago.
Yeah, it's I want to say it's tough being a comic, but for me it's not. Like it's not saying terrible things. I mean I'll tell you when I think of a terrible joke. I think of some terrible things, but like it's just like for me it's like so easy to just not shit on people who are like a marginalized group.
Yeah, and you could still be funny.
Yeah.
Even if it like you could do it tastefully.
100%.
You know, because like trans jokes I feel should be told by trans people
and they
because
do
that's
so
the
well.
experience and that's the authenticity
100%.
that comes from it. And also, you know, you're in society. We see you. Other people are gonna make fun of you. It's kind of something you can't stop.
Yeah.
You know, like we can't be like at the same time we can't really be like the thought police. You know, but because there's black jokes that black people tell that are funny, and then there's, you know, jokes that non-black folks tell that are also funny, but it's like different levels of funny.
Yeah.
And like the trans thing, it's new and it's still being navigated, but like it's like, dude, if it's not your lane, don't have it.
Well, you
don't
can tell
have it.
when someone is like educated on it, and the joke is coming from like an educated place, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well, from experience, like you know, like if a white comic has a trans relative,
right,
that might hold some water, you know,
exactly.
Because it's you know it's not direct experience, but it's experience and you're learning from that person because you're related to them.
Like
you know
I have
mean?
I have a joke with because my best friend is non-binary and they have thought about chopping off the titties. And I'm like, what titties?
What?
Because they're like super flat. And I told him that joke. I was like, but I'm like, see, and like that's a way to be like, yes, I support you. You can, but like, you don't have tits. What are you talking about?
And that's a lane that you can go into because you're a woman.
Right. Exactly.
Like, whereas if I said that would come off.
You'd be
pretty,
like, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, like I'm an asshole.
I mean, I'm sure in Arkansas they'd
but
be
what
like.
if I was fat with like bitch tits?
You'd be like, mine are
what
bigger
if I
than
was
yours.
Fat and I had like big man tits.
It takes a level of self-awareness, right? Like, you know, I mean, for example, like Mike Falzone has a great joke where he talks about like he's like, well, we call P Diddy something different every year. You can't call your kid's friend a different name. Fuck you, like shut up.
Yeah, I know for real.
You know? So there's and that's why we're like, you can't make fun of this. Yes, you can. You just have to not be, not only not like charitable, but also like just don't do what everyone else is doing, man.
Right, yeah.
Like, come on, like when I see a fucking 20-something white male comedian,
edgelord comic,
go up there and he talks about black people or queer people like he's the first one to ever say the joke. I'm just like, dude, go back to 1980.
Yeah.
I remember a show I did at the Federal was ruined because the host was he's like, they put tampons in the men's room, and everyone was like, who fucking cares, dude? And he's like, and I need a bigger tampon because I have a heavy flow, and people were like, I hate it. And I was like, oh my God. And the only jokes we got that night were making fun of the fucking host.
Oh my God.
It was a nightmare. And I was like, if you could just shut the fuck up. Like, and I get told by people too. They're like, yeah, the jokes you tell are way different than a lot of female comedians. Because they're like, they talk about either dating or like their sex life. And I'm like, well, I've got neither. So and I have to make it up somewhere.
And it's not your lane.
It's not my lane.
It's not your truth. It's not your experience.
As a demisexual, asexual person, I'm not. I mean, I can talk about dating. I can talk about sex and how, not a fan sometimes. It's not my favorite unless I've known you and we're about to ruin our friendship.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
It's just here, man. It's just here, and it's a common trope. But like, this is the worst fucking town.
Yeah.
For that, people are way too selfish.
Oh,
way too selfish. Way too.
I mean, for me, it's been everywhere.
Yeah, it's really been everywhere.
It's everywhere. Oh yeah, I've been in situationships as long as I can remember.
I'm at 10 in Oklahoma. Not for real.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, also, like, you have so much emotional intelligence and you have a good relationship with your mom. Like, that's very rare.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Okay, but like, I knew I was going to be in Oklahoma, like, temporarily. So, like, I had my fun.
As you deserve. I mean, look, I thought when I was in my 30s, single in LA, I'd be out, be in Sex in the City. But I'm more like, what am I? I'm more like, let's see.
Cat lady in a onesie.
Yeah, but I was trying to think of a TV show. Well, that's the joke that I have is, I'm exactly where I was at when I was 12, which is I watch anime all the time. I'm not having any sex. There was a period where I thought anime was a phase and I'm having sex, and now I'm like, nope, anime's my whole life. And the joke is, I'm like, I would go back in time and be like, don't worry about dating. Just watch Dragon Ball Z because it's going to be very relevant when you're older.
Oh my God.
Just too, I haven't watched all Dragon Ball Z, so there's so many things I just to add that to the
we gotta catch up on that. That's a whole other thing that we're gonna get into. But that's the mental breakdown of Alex Cave and everything that frustrates you and that you hate so much. All the things that make you mad.
Yeah.
One more time, where can the people find you?
I'm Alex with Alex on Instagram. I have an Etsy shop, Work in Progress Goods. And I got a YouTube and a TikTok, and just come hang out with me and be nice.
It's all in the description. It's all in there. Go have fun. Follow the Mental Breakdown podcast on YouTube, Spotify, wherever the hell else this is going to go. Yeah. We're launching it next month, so this is going to be fun.
It's launched now.
It's launched now. You're seeing it now, but this is the little inside baseball.
Oh yeah! If you're in LA, come to that astrology show.
Come to that astrology show.
It's a fun
time.
So many Instagrams.
I love it. We all have ghost accounts. All right. Thanks everybody. Subscribe. Thanks.